Hello everybody, knife review time. Now, I suppose that I should be reviewing one of the knives that have been sent by very good friends on YouTube, but today's knife is going to jump the queue, and the reason for that is that the purchase of this knife was directly inspired by the knife you saw in the last review, the Browning lockback that was sent to me by the fat man, Chad Spearman. That Browning was a lovely knife, and I was rather taken with the ram's horn scales, and I wanted to see what else was out there with ram horn scales. This is what I found. Okay, so this was the knife from the last video, the Browning lockback. We'll just put that there for a moment. This is the knife that was inspired by that, or the purchase that was inspired by that. Here we've got Robert Klaas since 1834, and on the box there's a picture of the old factory in Solingen in Germany. Now this isn't a German made one, it's made in China, and there's the model number KC9135. I don't know if we can see that. There we go. So let's make sure we get that back in focus. So it comes in a little cardboard box. Slide out tray. Little polythene Johnny bag. And here is the knife. Now, one of the things with the Browning is I think it's quite chunky as a pocket knife. It did come with a very nice belt pouch, but I think it was 3.5 ounces, and it is quite a stout little blade. But this one, the Klaas, is a lot smaller all round, although the cutting edge is not much shorter at all. So when you put them together like that, you can see that it's much slimmer, or well, less deep, should we say. You'll get to see that comparison better in the still shots at the end. But we'll just show you the usual size comparison. Here we have the Victorinox Spartan copy, and this knife is very much in the same ballpark. So what are the specs? Well, we've got a closed length of just over 3.5 inches, about 90mm. The blade length, tip to handle, is 70mm. What's that? 2 3/4. And the cutting edge, in a straight line, is about 63mm, just on 2.5 inches. The blade's the same thickness as on the Browning. I think it's a 3mm blade. Yeah. And on the back we've got this, I'm going to call it file work, but it's clearly machined. On the blade we've got a sticker saying handcrafted in China. And I'm quite prepared to believe the China part of that message, but I think handcrafted is probably pushing it a bit. This cost £33 shipped, so that is about €42.50 or $57. But if you're in the States and you wanted to buy this from somewhere like Smoky Mountain Knife Works, it would actually only cost you $25. And if you add on, say, another $13 for UPS, that's $38 shipped. Whereas over here, we have to pay the equivalent of $57. But that's just my little whinge about knife prices in the UK. You certainly get your money's worth. Brass liners, nickel silver bolsters, quite gold in colour. The lovely ram's horn scales, which we'll see close up in a little bit. Brass pins, file work on the back spring, clip point, full flat grind with a nice bevel. This model isn't currently listed on the Robert Klaas website. They only have a small selection of products. The retailer I bought this from said that the blade steel is Sandvik, although other retailers quote it as being 440. I'd be quite happy with either of those, although I do think 440 is more likely. I have no problem with 440. The edge from the factory, it comes with quite a good edge, sharp enough for most people, although the very tip isn't quite as sharp. However, when you see, if we can, I don't know if we'll get a close up on this, we'll have a go. The edge bevel is very nicely done. So it's only going to take, I'm struggling here to get this into focus. No, been a bit too ambitious there. It's only going to take, so it's only going to take a couple of minutes on the old wet and dry paper to get that edge shaving sharp. So one last thing to look at, as I said, I think this is a much more realistic size as a pocket knife when you compare it to the Browning. If we just compare the weight, let's see if we can get that in shot. So the Browning's 3.57, but the Klaas is 2.2. So it's an ounce and a third lighter, 2.2. And then just for context, the Spartan copy is 2.7. So it's half an ounce lighter than the Spartan copy. The fit and finish is nice on a knife in this price bracket. The only real concern I have is when the knife's closed, the very tip, are we in focus there? The very tip doesn't quite disappear into the handle. You can't feel it with the flesh of your finger, but you can just catch it with your nail, which means over time, if that edge gets sharpened away, it's going to make that problem worse. It's going to make the tip stick out further. So I think I am probably going to have to grind that very tip along the back just to drop the point down so that it sits better in the handle. And that's it. Chinese made, ram's horn scales, nice lock back. I think for the price it's a little cracker, and it does make a good noise. Listen to this. Oh yes. So We'll have a look at a couple of close-ups and you can get a proper idea what you're looking at. I think it's a winner. Thanks for watching.